still unbeaten, and in the Big Ten, still pretty much unchallenged. Ohio State, a 34-0 winner at Camp Randall Stadium over Wisconsin. These are Snap Judgments. He is 10 TV's Adam King. I am Austin Ward for the Austin and Berm Show. No berm. And no real nitpicking to be done in this game, at least not by me. You?
I'm only doing this because I know Berm is going to watch. Do I need to be the next? Do I need to? This was the worst performance I've ever seen. No. I'm very proud of myself. I'm going to start with a pat on the back. This is exactly the game I thought we would see.
Yeah.
I thought 38-3. You were right. Congrats to you. This defense was not going to let anything happen out there. But the first thing that jumps out to me from this game is Julian Sayin is very much not only a Heisman candidate, but more importantly than that is the generational talent that we so often talked about when we first thought of Julian Sayin. His ball placement is ridiculous.
We're going full BPS?
Ball placement special.
Wow, full BPS.
I talked to him after the game and I said, do you use stats? Do you use touchdowns? Like, what is your, thought process? And he's like, with a good game. And he said, I just feels good out there. I just feel comfortable. He's got that connection with Carnell Tate. But if you were worried about the pass game or the explosive plays, put a bow on that. When they need to score, we've said it all along, they can score.
Well, that's their identity when they're at their best. There is no secondary in the country that can match up with Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate. Brandon Ennis got himself in that north corner of the end zone over there to my left. A meaningful, maybe confidence-building touchdown late in the game. Scramble drill. Julian Sayin finds him in the back of the end zone. Carnell Tate's going to get all the headlines from this game. Jeremiah was still wildly productive again, and he's setting up the rest of his teammates for some success. Ennis getting involved as well. You saw Quincy Porter getting involved. Like, this collection of targets for someone with Julian Sayin's skill set is borderline unfair. And Ryan Day said in his post-game press conference as they wrapped up here on Saturday night, it's like, yeah, we wanted to find out where they were with the passing attack. Well, the progress is pretty good. And in some respects, you can look at this and say, yeah, you're going to still talk about the run game in the off week next week and getting ready for Penn State beyond that. When Ohio State just cuts it loose and trusts the passing attack to go set the tone, set the tempo, dictate to a defense, they're borderline unstoppable. And you look, well, then why didn't they win by 34? They didn't need to. There are still other things that they wanted to work on. But as you said, Adam, and I completely agree, when they wanted to score, 4 and 17 were out there.
Yeah, and the thing, and I read Twitter. I'm an avid X user, and maybe I should stop because it's not good for the acid reflux. I just don't understand how you could look at today's game and not realize that this is the best team in the country, and it might not be close. This defense, unbelievable. Unstoppable, really, when they play to their full strength. Certainly this Wisconsin offense is depleted. They're with their backup quarterback, but even then, they couldn't do anything in this game. And then on offense, the one thing, I'll give you one caveat as we get, 7 games through the season?
Yeah.
If you want to question the run game or worry about the run game, I still think that when they need the yards, the short yardage is a problem. I think that's really the biggest thing. I think that Isaiah West, welcome to the party, pal.
Yeah, I think there was a moment there, and there were 2 runs in particular. They were coming down here towards this end zone, the south end zone at Camp Randall Stadium, where it was like, I think he hit 1 for 9, another one for 14, and it was like, okay, that seems a little bit different. That's a new spark. And we said that about Bo Jackson a month ago at this time. And now the same may be true for Isaiah West. I think he was a little bit banged up coming into this, and it was sort of an afterthought as Bo Jackson was rising, and you thought you had C.J. Donaldson and James Peoples for Ohio State to lean on. I think C.J. Donaldson is still giving Ohio State largely what it wants. There were, James Peoples made a nice play on a 3rd down, but the future could very well be now for both freshmen, and maybe that's an over-exaggeration for Isaiah West, but they saw in those reps against a defense that Ryan Day was very still complimentary of, and they played better in other games than they did tonight or than they did against Iowa. You kind of have to look at the exact sample size you want to back up that claim, but they knew that Luke Fickell was going to coach a team that was going to try very hard, that was going to be disciplined on defense, and those reps, I think, will count a little bit extra. So maybe that could look different in 2 weeks' time against Penn State.
I don't think with Isaiah West, this is just a guy getting reps. I was starting to think that today. There's a balance where, like, you see some guys going and you go, oh, that's good to get him in the game. That doesn't feel like what Ohio State's doing with Isaiah West right now. He feels like he is a game or 2 away from being fully a part of this rotation, which is crazy to think because then you're at 4 guys in this running back room. Bo Jackson, I mean, there's a world. C.J. Donaldson is great. He had a couple big runs. We know he can find the end zone. But there's a world where the duo of Isaiah West, he's the spark, and Bo Jackson is the power guy. And I know that sounds crazy because we, as you said, the Bo Jackson spark is what we just talked about right, like 2 weeks ago. But when you see those guys together, it's something special. And I understand the concern of the run game. If you walked out of this game, I had some people texting me, hey, I'm worried. The run blocking, it's got to get better. There are some questions on the right side of that offensive line. I think we all know that. Where they go from there, that's why you have a bye week here. An off week. I apologize. Actually, improvement week.
Oh.
And that's why you have improvement week. It wouldn't surprise me if they come out of this Independence State and have found something more consistent on that right side.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just trying different options in the backfield. As you mentioned, another opportunity where Tegra Shabola comes out, Josh Padilla goes in. You know, the bulk of this game, I don't have the snap count quite yet, was still Tegra Shabola, but, you know, you start the game, you have a false start penalty. He misses a block that leads to a sack on the second drive. Ohio State kicks the field goal there to go up 10-0. It's like, you know, try something different. Josh Padilla goes out there. They go down the field, they get another touchdown. He's out there some in the second half playing in place of Tegra Shabola. That's happened like every week. First it was Ethan Onyanwa. Now they're sort of elevating Josh Padilla into that role. And again, I'm not saying any of this to pick on Tegra Shabola, but as we view,
I mean, it's clearly you're picking.
I'm nitpicking him
as you
sure.
do with the 7-0
and he is a veteran and a huge, strong dude. So I can't.
Yeah, you don't want to. I would not mess with him.
I can't pick on him, and I won't. I just think the door has been open now for 7 games for Ohio State, and every time it leads right back to 77 going out there. But we're all at that point where I didn't want to go down this road on snap judgers because I don't feel any personally negativity about Ohio State. Third road game in 4 weeks, a Big Ten opponent with their backs against the wall. Luke Fickell trying to fight for his career and beating them 34-0. Like I don't have any complaints on the Ohio State perspective there. But we're going to have 2 weeks, and this is not the first, second, or third time that this rotation has happened. And maybe it is just a rotation and not tinkering and experimenting with the personnel. It feels like it's more than that, and it looks like, and certainly some of the grades will bear out, that there is more success at times with the backups in at right guard. So whether that was Ethan Onyanwa at the start of the year or Josh Padilla now, we'll see if that leads to any change moving forward, or if Isaiah West is going to produce some of these changes as well by going in the game. All that to say, I didn't want to nitpick, and then we spent all this time talking about the run game and not singing the praises of Cardell Tate.
No, listen, I just gave a little sidebar.
We have to be. No one wants to hear us just pat them on the back.
But Cardell Tate, goodness gracious, I mean,
he's amazing.
I wish that Carnell wasn't as humble sometimes. He's an incredibly humble guy. A lot of these guys are. But I wish that Carnell would just look into a camera and be like, yeah, I'm that guy. I mean, I was having a conversation about his wingspan. Every catch, there are a lot of people that make good catches, but every catch for Carnell, he's like over here, and he's reaching all the way out, like he's fully expanded. And it's so remarkable. But I don't think you can credit Carnell without credit Julian Sayin, because you
also can't do it without crediting Jeremiah Smith, who's still getting double and triple team like all game long.
And had double-digit catches today?
Yeah, he's very good.
Turns out you can double and triple team him, but he's still going to get double-digit catches. I'm very, very excited at the emergence of Carnell, because I'm old enough to remember. I don't know if you remember this.
Okay.
When Carnell Tate came into the program.
Oh, yeah.
And he was Jeremiah Smith. Everybody said, Marvin said, I'm good. You think I'm good? Wait till you see this Carnell Tate guy.
Marvin said at that time, he is ahead of where I was as a freshman.
And so then everybody kind of like, okay, this guy's amazing. And then Jeremiah Smith walked on campus and they were like, well, look at that guy.
Well, how about that?
It's about time that Carnell Tate gets the spotlight he deserves, not just in Columbus, because I think Buckeye fans know how good he is. But nationally, when I see national guys and on the broadcast, people talking about 17 is a first-round pick. Look what Emeka Egbuka is doing in the NFL. It is no exaggeration to say Carnell could go to the NFL and do a very similar thing in the start. And that's ridiculous because Emeka is top 5 wide receiver in the league.
Yeah, and some of that, Carnell had to wait a little bit for some of the spotlight to come his way because of Mecca. and Jeremiah were on the team now, and it's the partnership of these two that is so fun to watch. I talked to Jeremiah a couple weeks ago coming out of the game on the notebook, and he was like, it's so great to see Carnell have these moments. He's doing it with such regularity. Early in the year, it was like there were one or two catches against Texas that is sensational stuff. The hand-eye coordination, the route running, everything is so sharp and so well put together. You weren't getting a ton of targets. You weren't getting necessarily the touchdowns. And now that's continuing to come along. Ohio State is building what it can do with Julian Sayin. And while Jeremiah Smith, you can still see him have stretches of the game where he is so frustrated by having to deal with all the extra defensive attention. But he's taking all that on, and Ryan Day called this a very selfless win. And he said they're not going to do anything to get statistics for just one person. He's still getting good numbers. Are they Devonta Smith Heisman winning numbers? No, but I don't know that they need to be for him to do that. But now you mentioned right off the top here that Julian Sayin has put himself and stamped himself in the Heisman Trophy race. It tends to go to a quarterback. Jeremiah Smith is the best player in America, and the beneficiary of that against Wisconsin statistically was Carnell Tate. And then on Monday and Tuesday, when you get the Heisman straw polls, Julian Sayin will now be the new elevated player in that conversation.
That's what's so silly about the Heisman, because you're right. Like Jeremiah allowed Carnell and Julian to link up, which then pats Julian's stats, which then people use against Jeremiah, and it's all ridiculous. And that's why I'm going to be releasing my own Heisman poll every week.
That's right. I thought you had a new award. You said that on Talking Tuesday a couple weeks ago.
The AK Top 20 is much more work than I thought it would be. So I can't take on another project right now. I'm very busy.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why it's a silly thing. That's why it's hard for a wide receiver to win.
It's hard for anyone to win. You're the one player in college football gets it.
But think about Mac Jones when Devontae Smith was in college. Nobody thought Mac Jones is a Heisman winning quarterback.
Sure didn't.
So when you have that, then you could say, well, this wide receiver is really good. Yeah. But when you have a really good quarterback and a really good wide receiver, it's hard to differentiate. And that's why, as I said a couple Talking Tuesdays ago, I don't think a Buckeye is going to win this award for a long time. They have too much talent, and that's a good problem to have.
Yeah, and I think, when I mentioned getting what you emphasize, and Ohio State was looking for more rushing consistency, I'm not sure that fully happened. We talked about that. But they wanted to address some of the red zone issues. And we saw a new wrinkle, right exactly here.
The tight end?
Will Kazmarek slips in there. You have a play action opportunity. Everyone is expecting. You've seen it on film time after time after time. Well, you're going to put Nate Roberts out there. You're going to put C.J. Dallas in the game. They're going to run it right at the middle. Boop, play action, flip it over the top.
I believe I said to you in the press box.
No, come on.
I said you put Nate Robertson in there and you run it every single time. At some point you have to pass. But again, I keep asking, and I will ask, why are you doing it when you're dominating Wisconsin? Don't put that wrinkle on tape.
Well, I mean, they needed to put this game away, Adam. I mean, yes, you could have.
They put this game. I'm sorry. They put this game. Did you say Carnell Tate's first catch? The game was away. A lot of Wisconsin fans.
Time to hit the old
dusty trail.
Yeah, it's an impressive performance. And again, so now we've done this where we haven't even now talked about the Silver Bullets and another shutout.
It's impossible to talk about them because all they do is just dominate. Like, there's nothing to say. Like, Arvell Reese is a monster. The man is 9 feet tall. My favorite part of the whole day was the Wisconsin basketball team is probably standing like here, and Arvell's right where you are. And they're just like he can for sure hear them, and they're like, so what position do you think that guy plays? He's a pretty big guy. Wow, I wouldn't want to go up against him. I'm like, yeah, I
don't think that the Wisconsin offense wanted to go against him.
He's a monster. Did you see that sack? That poor quarterback.
I was worried for him.
Yeah. And then Sonny's great. And then Caleb's great. What else do you want me to say?
Yeah, Sonny heads up play to catch the deflection, get the interception early on as Ohio State, built that lead. And it did feel like once it was 10-0, it was over. Well, that's it. Because I kept writing it down. It was like another 3 and out, another 3 and out, another 3 and out. They got into the middle of the third quarter, and Wisconsin had one drive longer than 3 plays.
Was that the PI?
And it went 9 plays, and then it petered out and got real weird with reviews and everything going on and penalties and stuff like that. But you can pick anyone in that starting group. And so Lorenzo Styles did dress, by the way. Ohio State was only going to use him in an emergency situation
as they should,
as he continues to get ready, get rested and recovered to try and avoid some surgery on the shoulder issue that has been lingering for him for about a month now at this time. So you got Devin Sanchez out there. Thought that he played with a lot of confidence. There wasn't a way for Wisconsin to really attack him. You have Jermaine Matthews continuing to fly around. Caleb Downs still very good at football. Jalen McClain. So that secondary, there was no opportunity for Wisconsin to beat Ohio State through the air, and they couldn't run on him because Tywan Malone is taking his game to another level. Caden McDonald is awesome. Caden Curry, Kenyatta Jackson, everybody that got on the game in the game for Ohio State was so good. That's the only way that you can shut somebody out. And Aaron Scott put the final touch on that. You could tell that the sideline was really into it, Adam. They want to make sure that this is a shutout. You get to the finish line. And they did.
Ryan was yelling across. I was standing on that side of the end zone, and it was loud. I mean, the stadium's loud, and I could hear Ryan Day clear as day screaming at these guys on 3rd and 4th down. They wanted that shutout.
They got it.
The one thing that I am excited about with this defense, there's a lot of things, but the one thing from this game and from the last game is you want Lorenzo Styles back.
Yeah.
And he will be. But this has given another wrinkle here, where they are now comfortable moving Jermaine into the nickel. He's comfortable playing in the nickel, and it's become kind of secondhand for these guys. So down the road, that's a whole other thing that Matt Patricia can throw at this defense that is just, they just create chaos. All I can think when I see this defense is they create chaos. Every play, if I was a quarterback, I would just cry.
Agents of chaos.
Agents of chaos. 8, Blocko, and 2. Are the leaders of the Agents of Chaos, and throw 7 in there.
Some people just like to watch the world burn.
And they do. And Cade McDonald, oh my goodness, one play, Cade McDonald got off the line so fast on a run play.
He's crazy.
That's insane.
He's so good. It was weird, Adam, because I want to wrap it up here on Snap Judgments, just talking about the weekend, and it's cool. We talked about it in the pregame keys hours ago, Camp Randall.
Yeah.
Mid-October, it's Big Ten football, and the student section was half full. And on the other sideline is someone that I've known for a really long time. And after the first drive of the game, they were already chanting to fire Fickle,
that was
Luke
brutal.
Fickle. And it was kind of uncomfortable because Ohio State was never going to lose this game. They were going to be able to dictate whatever score they wanted. And I don't think this is a case of where they could have run up the score and chose not to. They were trying to work still on the run game stuff, and all that kind of led to this scenario where there was room where you could say they could play better. But all of this is to say that there's probably going to have to be a change because jump around was half full.
The second jump around ended, I've never seen anything like it. I mean, there was a line of, you see people head for the exit, there was a line of people heading, they had to wait to leave the game. I don't know that I've ever seen that other than at the end of a game. It was sad. It was the highlight was a bunch of dudes doing the rally towels with their shirts.
I don't know what started that or why.
I want to find the guy that started it. It's my new favorite tradition in college football. He ran to that, and the amount. Mick's giving me a look here. It's my new favorite tradition because it's fun. Okay.
You just want to have a little fun?
Yeah.
I'm glad they could find some because their team was losing 34-0.
And they were electric and they brought the energy. But when you see guys with bags on their head at Wisconsin, that broke my heart. That's not what this game is supposed to be.
I didn't want to be mean and punch down, but this is a proud program.
It is.
It is a flagship program in the Big Ten, and this was I felt like Ohio State came here and beat the team that used to be Wisconsin. That, and that sucks. I hope that they can get it figured out, and I hope because look, Luke Fickle is going to have to be replaced here, and I think he's still a very good coach. Ryan Day certainly respects him. A lot of people around the Big Ten do. I think he's going to land on his feet, and I hope that he does wherever he goes. Maybe there'll be a better fit. Maybe he'll have learned from this experience because what they built offensively for this program is certainly not good enough to compete against Ohio State, and obviously it's not. They've been shut out 2 weeks in a row.
You know who would be a really good fit for Wisconsin? Can you guess?
That would be Adam King.
James Franklin.
Don't do that.
Think about it. James Franklin comes to Wisconsin. What he took to Penn State, what he did at Penn State, if he does it at Wisconsin, he's a hero.
That's a pretty big if.
That's gonna wrap.
That's gonna be hell getting home.
Best be hitting the old.
Why did you do that to me? I was in such a good mood. I don't want it to be.
I think it might happen. Eli Drinkowitz at Penn State, James Franklin at Wisconsin. That's the new Big Ten.
Brian Kelly's going to Penn State. He's going to need an.
That's true. They want him out of LSU.
So it's a.
Wait a minute. LSU was supposed to be the team better than Ohio State. Miami.
Well, they both were. LSU had the most impressive win in the country after week 1.
I'm trying to think. Hold on.
Beating Clemson.
I can figure it out.
Wait, here.
Texas Tech?
No, sorry.
No. There's somebody out there. Louisville?
No.
Oh, Mick said L. I'm a big Louisville guy.
I think he was saying that Texas Tech lost.
They did lose? All right. So there you go. I mean, it seems like if you're a Buckeye fan and you're frustrated with anything, you should probably take a look at the fact that they're the defending national champions. They're 7-0 going to the bye week. They just beat a team 34-0 on the road in the Big Ten. They're riding high. That's
a lot of good things.
I tell people all the time, this is what Buckeye fans dreamed of 5 years ago. You are the Alabama. You are the Clemson that you talked about. Enjoy the moment. Don't criticize the moment. Don't find something to nitpick when you can be celebrating.
Ryan Day will still do that, though, I promise you, and they head into the off week, and it will be, he mentioned them right away, special teams in the run game, and we're going to talk about that way more when we get back to Columbus, because we'll be back at Roosters. By the way, new show, new location, opening up back up for the live show in Olentangy next week. Getting excited for that. We'll have a Bourne Blitz. They do. It's the best. It's a fun casual joint. Have Zach Bourne on the beat to kick off on Monday, heading into this off week, and so much more content, including more of this guy on a Talking Tuesday.
Quit telling them that. They're going to stop listening.
They love Talking Tuesday. Everybody, all the fans again, were saying, we need more Adam King.
People were yelling at me. And one woman startled me. I was standing on the sideline and she goes, Adam King! And I literally jumped. It was like, easy, all right?
Did she call you Television's Adam King or just Adam King? That tells me how I know they're watching, which show they're watching.
She yelled Adam King, and then I turned around and she said, big fan of Talking Tuesday.
Woo!
And I said, I have another job.
Well, but I think you lean into where the success is. You know what I'm saying?
You're right.
We can just do more of these, and we will on Tuesday. Ryan Day, that'll be his only media availability of that off week. We'll be there for that, of course. That's when we get home, and we're going to try and do that right now. That's a wrap on Snappy Jays here at Camp Randall Stadium. Ohio State, a 34-0 winner. They are 7-0. They are number 1 in the country. They're not going anywhere, at least until they get home and play Penn State in 2 weeks.
Well, they're going somewhere. They're going
home.
They've left.
And so are we. He's Adam King. I'm Austin Ward. Thanks so much for joining us on 97.1 The Fan and 10 TV. We'll see you later.